What's good, YouTube? Back at it with another reaction. You know what I'm saying? Reaction on crack. We're going back to back. It's your boy Sly. Once again, coming to slide on that timeline. Today we're going to be talking about every type of Omnitrix explained in 23 minutes. This is more of an informative video. So I'm going to try to keep my talking limited. Unless I'm kind of pre-firing what I know. And then it's going more in detail about it. This video is by Tennyson. If the content is tough, we're going to make sure we follow, and when you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss the movement. Always, pre-firing the like. I got 24 hours to do 3 good deeds. You know what I'm saying? I think that's very reasonable. That's within reason in my mind. Y'all got that 24 hours, so make sure y'all handle that. Also, make sure y'all boys drinking some water, getting some sleep, eating some good food, staying healthy, man. Discord link in the description. Without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Talk to me.
Our first watch is the Omnitrix. The Omnitrix takes the form.
I don't like this as AI. They're most likely not gonna get subscribed to. I don't mess with AI videos. They gotta really impress me.
Of 2 dark green gauntlets with black and green rectangles, borrowing the same hourglass symbol as the Omnitrix. The Omnitrix is actually 2 Omnitrixes linked together, allowing the user to create alien fusions by slamming the gauntlets together. These fusions are not...
It's also interesting that using the Alien X with anything else, or at least with Atomics here, he didn't have to do the debating thing, because one of them is because it's not technically what he's creating is not a Celestial Sapien, so it doesn't have to follow that rule, but it has some of these Celestial Sapien DNA.
Not stored. They're created in real time while transforming. And by using only one gauntlet, the user can switch to regular aliens. Each gauntlet gives full access to all unlocked aliens, and the user can transform by saying the alien's name or even without saying it, like the Omnitrix's Master Control. The Omnitrix even has a randomizer function. Compared to older models, the Omnitrix is incredibly streamlined, almost weightless, fitting perfectly and blending right in with the natural curves of the user's forearms. If the user falls unconscious or takes a hard enough hit in a transformation, they'll revert back. The Omnitrix usually adapts the user's clothing to each alien form, with the Omnitrix symbol shifting position on each alien's body. It can even be voice-controlled. However, it can be temporarily disabled if hit by a large electromagnetic pulse, like from a solar flare. Our next watch, the Codon Stream, is more than a watch. It's a network of rivers of...
Okay, so this is AI, and we're really just learning, but it's not creative content. I might increase the speed here.
Green lava that runs throughout Primus. The Codon Stream originated from a volcano, which was actually a processing plant for the DNA in the stream.
Yeah, I didn't know it would be considered an Omnitrix itself, but I did know that was before it was retcon, that was the explanation to why when it updated, he got access to way more alien species.
Miax, while getting Florana DNA on Floor's Verdance, unknowingly added Ectonuridae DNA because Ziziskar possessed the Florana sample. The Chimera sui generis DNA originally came from Vilgax, but that sample ended up deleted. In Ghost Freaked Out, the Ectonurite DNA was removed from the Codon Stream after Ziziskar escaped, taking Ghost Freak off the active playlist. Later, in Be Afraid of the Dark, Ziskar's DNA was unknowingly scanned again, bringing Ectonurite DNA back into the Codon Stream. Ben originally assumed there were about 10,000 DNA samples in the Codon Stream, and his future counterpart, Ben 10,000, backed it up. But later, after meeting Aasmuth, the Ectonurite DNA was removed again, letting Ziziskar escape the Omnitrix one more time. The Codon Stream used to have conductoid DNA until feedback was removed, and seemingly destroyed, by malware, after which Azimuth recalibrated it to reject conductoid samples for 5 years. The Codon Stream was first hinted at in War of the Worlds. Part 1, when Azimuth revealed that the Omnitrix could access over 1 million samples from species across the Milky Way. Later, with Master Control unlocked, the Omnitrix announced there were 1,903 DNA samples in the Codon Stream. In Alien Swarm, the number increased to 1,904 after Ben scanned some microchip-possessed citizens to obtain nanomech. Ghost Town saw the Codon Stream acquire Ectonurite DNA once again when Ben scanned Ziziskar, bringing Ghost Freak back. By Ultimate Alien, there were 1,910 samples due to 5 Andromeda Galaxy aliens. Water Hazard, Terraspin, NRG, Armadillo, and Amphibian being added via the Ultimatrix.
Yep.
Despite Ben's encounters with Vilgax during this time, the Ultimatrix never tried to scan Vilgax's DNA automatically.
Yeah.
However, it's possible the code and stream could have gained a new Chimera sui generis DNA sample when Ultimate Ben unlocked multiple transformations for his younger counterpart. Endymion says the codon stream even had issues with its Arachnicimp DNA sample. The codon stream is the backbone of the Omnitrix and Ultimatrix's main function, acting as a wireless receiver that lets them alter the wearer's DNA when the Omnitrix
It's like a Bluetooth SD card, like Bluetooth storage.
activates, a holographic display of available aliens appears. Pushing the faceplate in place sends a signal to Primus's volcano, and then the codon stream sends the selected DNA data back to the Omnitrix, transforming the user. This connection between the Omnitrix, Ultimatrix, and codon stream is incredibly strong, able to work across dimensions. Ben could transform even in the Null Void, Forge of Creation.
Could also, in the Man of Action made both series, so it's canon, and a crossover with Generator Rex in another dimension, presumably, because they didn't know who Ben was. He was still able to transform as well.
Parallel universes, and while trapped in a video game. Finally, DNA PODS. DNA pods are small containers inside the Omnitrix that hold DNA samples, allowing access to 10 samples at a time unless the setting is off. Inactive DNA pods stay in a separate chamber but can be temporarily activated. Next is Eunice. The Unitrix, self-nicknamed Eunice, is a prototype Omnitrix which can absorb and contain DNA of various different species. She is also one of Azimuth's creations. In her true form, Eunice is the Unitrix, a core similar to the Omnitrix and Ultimatrix. Unlike future models, the Unitrix resembles a container instead of a watch, but does feature a control dial that, when pressed down, turns it to its mobile DNA form, in this case, Eunice. After gaining human DNA from a randomized genetic sample, Eunice appears as an adolescent woman with around shoulder-length blonde hair and bright green eyes. When Ben's team first found her, she borrowed Ben's jacket so she wouldn't be seen like that. Afterwards, she borrowed a pink tank top, white shorts, and brown flip-flops from Gwen. Since working for Azimuth on Primus, she now sports a white jumpsuit with black stripes. There are green rectangular markings on the back of Eunice's neck. When they are pressed, Eunice turns back into the Unitrix. In Omniverse, Eunice now wears a white dress with a black collar and one stripe in the middle. She also wears black fingerless gloves and black boots. Her hair is now shorter, and she wears a black hairband, which resembles Gwen's Season 2 look in Omniverse. Eunice is kind to humans and animals, and shows love and care for everyone. She is very appreciative to those who help her and cares about animals so much that she wouldn't eat them. Even though she is artificial, due to the fact that she takes the form of a human and has the personality of one, she doesn't like to be treated as an object. Sunder was hired by Azimuth to find the Unitrix when Azimuth lost it. The Unitrix's pod was discovered in the forest at the same time Ben's team was driving for a camping trip. After encountering her, she stayed with them for the day, bonding with Ben, who had recently broken up with Julie. Soon after, the two of them were attacked by Sunder, who shut Eunice down and attempted to get away before Kevin and Gwen stopped him. Kevin restarted the Unitrix again. While the four of them scuffled with Sunder and ended up in a muddy area, Azimuth arrived, broke up the fight, and cleared things up. He stated that Eunice was the Unitrix, a prototype version of the Omnitrix created when Azimuth wanted to preserve alien DNA by placing genetic samples in individual Unitrixes that could animate themselves to take on the appearance and use the abilities of the DNA samples uploaded into them for protection. Azimuth explained that when Gwen cut her hand trying to open the pod containing the Unitrix, her DNA was sampled and randomized to make a human form for the Unitrix, explaining why Eunice has blonde hair while Gwen has orange or red hair.
So unlike the Omnitrix, where it makes like the peak form of like that species, in this case, it was just a randomized version of a human. That can also, because the DNA came from her, that can explain why, like, I was about to say, it was a crazy coincidence. The clothes fit, their ears look similar just in this shot here. Similar lip design. Faces are about the same. Just eye colors.
Following a brief argument, Ben allowed Azimuth under a compromise to take Eunice as one of his assistants on Primus. Endymion says Eunice was tending to DNA in the codon stream, where she found the Arachnicimp DNA had some degradation.
Not gonna lie, we're here for the interesting stuff. I ain't gonna hold. We already dealing with an AI voice game.
Is Hero Watch. The Omnitrix, nicknamed the Hero Watch, is the Dimension 23 version of the Omnitrix. This Omnitrix's appearance resembles the original Omnitrix prior to its reconfiguration, except the interface is blue instead of green, much like everything else in Dimension 23. In addition, the face's rim is gold instead of gray. It is blue and light blue in color instead of gray. The Hero Watch mainly allows the user to transform into a wide variety of alien life forms, each with its own unique powers and abilities, along with their weaknesses, in a selection of alien DNA groups of 23 factorial, the Hero Watch has a quick change feature.
So it's like
Manually
Ben's
touching the
first
Hero
main
Watch
watch.
symbol allows the user to immediately transform back to normal and can also change forms while already transformed. The Hero Watch has a
so it's a
self-destruct
little
mode,
bit-
and it can synchronize with another Omnitrix,
like
giving it
master
new
control.
transformations. The Hero Watch can detach from the user's wrist. This Omnitrix has
Okay,
only
never
shown
mind.
one display mode so far: black silhouettes of transformations. It is unknown if the Hero Watch
That's insane, because, like, the OG watch, you can't take it off no matter what.
can change its display mode. The location of the Omnitrix symbol varies between transformations. The Hero Watch may or may not give clothing to a transformation. Based on the wearer's clothing, the Hero Watch may stop working when frozen in time by a Chrono Sapien. If hacked, the Hero Watch can activate its self-destruct mode. This Omnitrix contains most, if not all, of Ben Prime's normal aliens, including every alien available to him during the original series. Next is Lifeform Lock Microchip. The
Yeah,
Lifeform
this
Lock
happened with
Microchip
Wolfrag.
was created by Blukic and Driba to keep Ben as Gravitac so
Oh.
that he could mediate a truce between the Apoplexians and the Luidans. In Food Around the Corner, Ben, as Gravitac, was elected to mediate peace talks between the Apoplexians and the Leodans. Since Ben doesn't have the codes for the Lifeform Lock, he needed an alternate means to stay as Gravitac for the meeting. Blukic and Driba attached a microchip to the Omnitrix to keep it from timing out. However, due to Poltroon's betrayal and the Hulex destabilizing Gravitac's core, Ben found himself in danger of exploding and taking out the leaders of both races. Rook was shrunk into microscopic size and managed to destroy the chip, allowing Ben to transform and avert the meltdown of Gravitac's core. The microchip is hardwired to the Omnitrix while Ben is transformed, trapping him in one alien form until the Omnitrix is released. To free up
So later when he did the bullfrag thing, that was like master control.
the Omnitrix to transform into another alien or return Ben to normal, the microchip must be physically removed or destroyed. Driba also warned
cooked.
Ben, don't get the chip wet, though the reason why was never made clear. Next is Negatrix. The Omnitrix, nicknamed the Negatrix, is Nika Ben's version of the second Omnitrix. The Negatrix looks
She
Negatrix,
did not
nicknamed the
say Nega.
Negatrix, is Nika Ben's version of the second Omnitrix. The Negatrix looks exactly like the second Omnitrix, except the white parts are black and the green parts are dark gray. The Negatrix has all of the second Omnitrix's features. It is unknown if the Negatrix contains Feedback's DNA. It is unknown. Next is Nemitrix. The
Yeah.
Nemitrix is a knockoff version of the original Omnitrix that was created by Dr. Psychobos. Kyber used it frequently with Zed, and then his Panuncian to turn them into predatory species of the
Yeah,
Omnitrix aliens.
I remember
The
that.
Nemitrix is shaped like a hexagon. It is colored red and silver. The symbol looks like an open mouth with sharp teeth.
Yeah.
It is used like a collar rather than a wristwatch, respectively given how dangerous its use is to sapient creatures such as humans. The Nemitrix has the ability to transform the user into non-sapient beings. Previously, the user transformed with the instructions given by Kyber via his whistles. Later, Dr. Psychobos fitted the Nemitrix with a stabilizer core stolen from the Omnitrix,
Stabilizer.
allowing the user to transform on their own.
Bunch of-
Similar to the original Omnitrix before recalibration, the Nemitrix can display silhouettes of its aliens. Similar to the current Omnitrix, it can store DNA within itself. Similar
Okay.
to the Omnitrix, the Nemitrix has a timeout function and a recharge mode. The Nemitrix has the ability to evolve aliens into their ultimate forms, granting them new
Just like
powers
the-
and new abilities that are more powerful. This feature was added by Albedo during his partnership
Yeah,
with
I was gonna
Kyber.
say, just like
The
Albedo.
Nemitrix is compatible with slime biotes, like Skurd, and gains access to the many mutations Skurd gives. The Nemitrix does not have the same capture mode feature as the Omnitrix. Only non-sapient beings can wield the Nemitrix properly because the biofeedback of the Nemitrix would destroy an intelligent mind, as sapient life forms cannot handle the savage feral nature of the Nemitrix aliens. Genetic parasites such as Skurd are also able to withstand high amounts of neural shifts without losing their intelligence.
Like
Only
mediated.
Kyber and Phil have used the Nemitrix, but with dangerous side effects such as memory loss and genetic mutation. Dr. Psychobos and Malware invented the Nemitrix for Kyber using incomplete but crucial schematics from the original Omnitrix in order to retrieve it from Ben and use its parts niche or schematics to perfect the Nemitrix. Its purpose was to destroy Azimuth, and with the Nemitrix now perfected with a piece from the current Omnitrix's core that Dr. Psychobos stole from Ben, such devices were no longer needed to do so. Albedo, in his alliance with Kyber, made some modifications. One of them was an evolutionary feature similar to the Ultimatrix.
Yeah.
After the events of For a Few Brains More, the Nemitrix was taken into Plumber custody after Kevin removed it. Kyber retrieved it in Stuck on You, but the Plumbers reclaimed it at the end of the episode.
Yes,
Next
sir.
is Omega Doom. The
I
Omega
caught
Doom
it.
is a DNA altering
I haven't heard of
device
these.
similar to the Omnitrix, created and used by Dr. Doom. The Omega Doom, like the Omnitrix, is a
Doom.
bracelet. However, its appearance is more grotesque, being light brown with darker spots with a diamond-shaped outline for its dial. Its symbol is light blue with light pink in the shape of a circle with smaller circles inside that alternate
Psychic
color.
type.
Next is the classic Omnitrix. The Omnimatrix, better known as the
We know
Omnitrix,
about
was a
these.
watch
Tell me
and
about the
stay in
active
said
mode.
transformation. The actual usage time is 10 minutes at a time. However, different factors and actions performed by the user can severely
Decrease
diminish
the
the
zone.
available usage time, most commonly if the user, while transformed, changes to another form. A single chain of 2 transformations limits the combined usage time to no more than 10 minutes, and more often less due to power leakage. Whereas chaining 3 or 4 transformations would leave the user with substantially less combined time than 10 minutes. This is because the action is energy intensive and depletes the Omnitrix's power supply more quickly than staying in a single transformation does. Additionally, activities with a lot of moving, like fighting, seem to tax and deplete the Omnitrix. However, if regular transformations are tampered with, the user can't always turn back. When the Omnitrix's usage time is fully depleted, i.e. times out, it goes into recharge mode. Firstly, warning of the timing
Remember
out,
this in
then
Omnitrix.
de-transforming the user and locking all functions of active mode while the
Omniverse.
Omnitrix recharges. It takes around 5 minutes to recharge, though it may take more time if tampered with. Recharge mode's main purpose is to prevent the alien DNA from attaching permanently to its host.
Yeah.
The Omnitrix is powered by a
I've heard a theory. I think it was a game theory. It was like that type of like a MatPat esque theory about how like obviously if you look at Ben 10,000, he's like the peak physical human. He's like buff. He got decent hair and he has like a strong jaw. So like they're saying like this is it takes his already DNA and then makes it peak human DNA. So instead of going back to what he was, it's actually instead turning him into a human from the DNA it already has like on file. And that's why like the de-transformation joint looks similar to the transformation like flashes. And that would explain why there's like a time limit, because after a time limit of any species for too long, you're kind of stuck. So I imagine if if he went over this time limit, if this time limit didn't exist, he'd be stuck as that species, and the only way around would be to turn into a human for a substantial period of time. But I'm sure doing this enough times would dilute what is considered the original DNA.
special self-renewable power supply that will long outlive Ben. The Omnitrix can detect when its host is in any sort of life-threatening distress. It can instantly recharge to protect the user from a direct physical threat.
Yeah.
This was shown when Ben was stuck to a wall about to be killed by Kevin 11, and when Ziza Skayer tried to possess Ben. Both times, despite just timing out within a minute earlier, the Omnitrix recharges instantly when the user's life is put in direct threat. This feature was switched off after the reconfiguration. If the user is knocked out or hurt enough, the Omnitrix will revert them to their normal form. The reconfigured Omnitrix times out with no warning due to the warning being switched off when the Omnitrix was reconfigured. When the Omnitrix was repairing the DNA aliens to make them human again, the Omnitrix went into recharge mode after a while. After the Omnitrix had reset, the timeout warning feature was turned back on. When recharging, the hourglass flashes either red instead of remaining a solid red, as it had when the Omnitrix was in its original form. The Omnitrix can alternatively flash green rather than red when signaling a timeout. When a new DNA sample has been unlocked from the codon stream, or when the Omnitrix captures new DNA not present in the codon stream, collect mode is activated. It can also reclaim lost or removed alien DNA that was in the codon stream. It scans to match the species, then moves the identified species to the active playlist. If it's seen the species before, it does it passively without Ben actively scanning. Unlike in the original series, the Omnitrix in Alien Force would not scan by touch. Due to its reconfiguration, the Omnitrix could scan Kevin's mutations, but it was programmed not to. In self-destruct mode, the Omnitrix charges energy while counting down until it explodes. STM function.
That's like the majority of the video. We're gonna end it off here. You know what I'm saying? Tough little Ben video. I'm low-key not I thought it was gonna be like a creator, like artistically. So that's what I'm saying. Authenticity really makes content. Cause like this, I only sat through because Ben 10, but it's like looking at the bio as well, it looks like someone could have just generated this gen. But like, you know what I'm saying? They still in a bag. We're gonna get there one day with our authenticity. I believe in us, chat. But yeah, that was about it for this one. Discord time link in the description. Check out Twitch, twitch.tv/JeroSly. 24 hours for 3 good deeds. Make sure y'all boys drinking y'all water and staying safe. Yeah. Peace.